Hey everyone, how you doing? So, Garden Warfare 1. What a classic, am I right? For a lot of PvZ fans out there, Garden Warfare 1 was their introduction to this franchise. And considering how even 10 years later, this game is still seeing new players try it every day, it's not hard to see why people fell in love with it all that time ago. But yeah, 10 years later, even if it's getting new players, it's undeniable that the game is a little dead nowadays. And for a long time, this was the one issue that put me off of playing this game on PC. I simply thought it was too dead to actually try. But I haven't been able to play Garden Warfare 1 much for several months at this point on console, so I folded, and now I temporarily own the PC version. And the longer I played, the more a video topic dwelled on my mind. Is Garden Warfare 1 still worth buying in the year of 2024? Well, that's the discussion we'll be having in today's video. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Well, okay, I do want to clarify one thing. This video will be primarily looking at the PC version of the game, as this was initially going to be the sole focus of the video. But as I kept making it, I realized that a lot of the points that applied to the PC version apply to console Garden Warfare 1 as well. So yeah, keep that in mind as we go along. Okay, now let's dive in. We'll start with what Garden Warfare 1 is. I'm pretty sure everybody watching this video knows exactly what the game is about, but I want to do a brief rundown just in case there's somebody who's only played the more recent shooters watching this. So, do you like hero shooters? That's Garden Warfare 1. There's only technically 8 classes, and there's basically only 2 main modes to play, those being Garden Ops and Multiplayer. Garden Ops is a wave-based horde fighting mode, where you defend a garden from zombies for 10 waves, then try to leave the area on the 11th. The variety in this mode for Garden Warfare 1 in particular is really good. There's a lot of unique aspects exclusive to this game. You can only play as plants though, so yeah. Multiplayer is a similar ordeal, but here there's a ton of variety in the various modes you play. These range from objective capture modes like gardens and graveyards, to modes where you plant bombs on the opposing team's bases like Gnome Bomb. There's quite a bit more to multiplayer, but the general idea you should walk away with is that you could play as all 8 classes, and also boss mode, I guess. These are really boring. I didn't grab footage of them, sorry about that. As for the characters, there is Pea Shooter, Chomper, Sunflower, Cactus, Foot Soldier, Engineer, Scientist, and All-Star. Every single one of these characters are unique in some kind of way. As an example, All-Star is a tanky character, Pea Shooter is a splash-centric generalist, Chomper is a melee and stealth specialist that can swallow zombies, and you get the idea. Basically, everybody has something working for them. And if those were the only 8 characters, yes, this game would be boring, but where the variety comes in for Garden Warfare 1 is in the variant system, which is pretty unique to this game when it comes to the hero shooter genre. Every class has at least 7 variants, with all of these being unique in some way. The changes can be minimal, like Skytrooper just being a worse foot soldier, sorry not sorry, to major, with a complete rework on how you play a character such as Bandit Cactus. This system makes the game stand out a lot, and it's pretty cool. But there's a catch that you should know about all of this. So this is the section of the video where I talk flaws, because the game has a lot. This is stuff that might not be a big deterrent to a lot of people who are even watching this, but it's information that you should know if you don't already. So let's start with the game itself. It's online only. Yep. And because of that, you would be hard-pressed to find a reason to play Garden Warfare 1 at all if you don't have a good internet connection. Oh, and the servers are also prone to just being down occasionally, so yeah, not great. Speaking of those servers though, unlike Garden Warfare 2 and BFN, this game does not give you the option to actually change your server region. So if you live somewhere like Australia, Garden Warfare 1 is basically unplayable nowadays, if you're on Xbox at least. For PlayStation players and PC players, you can use a VPN, which is pretty nice, or for every platform, you just simply join a friend who lives in a more active region, which is realistically how most of you who live in those inactive places are gonna be able to play at all. As for the regions I'm aware of that are active, NA East and NA West go without saying, as well as European and Brazilian servers as well. I know that Asian servers are active for specifically PC BFN, but I'm not sure if that's the case for Garden Warfare 1 too, so that's why I didn't mention it here. Regardless, this is probably going to be your biggest reason to not buy Garden Warfare 1 if you live somewhere that's a bit dead multiplayer-wise. It sucks, but the game's been out for 10 whole years now. It's kind of inevitable. Oh, but on top of this, don't expect to play any game modes besides Team Vanquish and Gardens and Graveyards. I don't think I need to explain why. But if we get into the actual game here, oh boy. Anybody who has watched me for more than a few minutes knows my opinion on Garden Warfare 1 in general. I think it's a little bit unfair, and that's due to the fact that most variants are simply not as good as others, which would be fine if the game didn't directly reward you for playing good. Yes, unlike the other PvZ shooter games, you can directly influence how many coins you get at the end of every match by just playing good. And considering how leveling up in this game doesn't require you to play any specific variant of a class, you can imagine that the meta is basically 20-ish characters out of the 60 or so. It's pretty frustrating, and it's one of the reasons why Garden Warfare 1 is a bit of a slog to start all over again when you have nobody. Speaking of the coins though, that's definitely the biggest issue here for progression. The game simply doesn't give you too many, even if you top frag. Again, wouldn't be an issue if it wasn't for the fact that the shop system in the game requires you to open packs to get everything. It's a harsh game to get into, but if you can manage despite all of this, then you'll probably like it a lot. There's a ton to enjoy here. There's more I could talk about, but I think you generally get the idea with this explanation. Garden Warfare 1 suffers from first game syndrome pretty hard, and I feel like I've only really scratched the surface on the problems for this title too. Also, keep in mind that on PC, there is still a skidding problem, which is really not fun, but overall, the game is still good. If you can look past a lot of the dated design choices and lack of content beyond the game itself, you'll probably love Garden Warfare 1, which is why I'm now going to talk about pricing. Do not get this game at its retail price tag of $20 US. It's not worth it at that point anymore. If you're ever going to consider getting the game, there are only two ways I would recommend getting it: EA Play or a sale. The latter happens a few times a year. We actually just had a summer sale too. So if you're vigilant, you'll be able to get the game at only $5 US, which is kind of a steal, even if you don't play it much. The former is more pricey, and I wouldn't recommend buying EA Play at all unless you happen to have it bundled with something like Xbox's Game Pass. But this is actually how I got the footage for this video. So after this month, I won't be able to play it until I buy it during a sale. So worst case scenario, you are ideally only going to be paying about $10 to $11 US at most. That's assuming you do the trial thing like I did, but if you're smarter than me, just buy the game on sale. So overall, Garden Warfare 1 is a pretty damn good game. My consensus on whether you should buy it or not hinges on if you already like the other shooter games. If you do, you'll probably love Garden Warfare 1. If not, this game is more of the same with even less content, so keep that in mind. And especially if you've never played Garden Warfare 1, you'll probably get a kick out of it for just how weird it is, especially if you're a TF2 player. So be mindful of where you live, what kind of friends you have, and if you think you can handle dealing with Toxic P all day. If the stars align, maybe you'll like the game. Though if you do need friends to play with, I genuinely recommend the Discord server I co-own, Floral Federation. I'm shilling, yes, but this server is genuinely good for getting new players together. And with that, I'll end this video here. If you liked it, you can always subscribe, that'd be cool. And also, I want to give a shout out to all of my extra Y-Side channel members, those being Dan B, Glitch into Code 867, Nicholas Van Koski, Sleepy, Song, Sophie Gaming, and Wapfa. Alongside my one normal channel member, thank you all so much for supporting my content. I really appreciate it, and I've never had this many members, so wow, thank you guys so much, that's crazy. And I'm gonna go now, just kind of playing more Garden Warfare 1. I'm not gonna lie, the game has actually kind of had me addicted, so peace.